Hello, everyone. These lights are very bright. So I wrote this poem quite a few years ago. I wrote it in my last year of high school, and it is my dad's favorite poem of mine, and he's here today, so I said, this is the one that I'm going to do. I came out of the womb sweltering, with veins filled to bursting of turbulent, rich blood, the roots of my ancestors living freely in my naughty hair, and it was summer. A season containing blueprints that depicted sticky air and sweat-soaked new beginnings. I danced with my father on a rusty apartment balcony, which overlooked a parking lot that souped-up Jettas and loud Pontiacs called home. In the evenings, Sam Cooke could be heard throughout the buildings, and our neighbors would collectively nod their heads and whisper in unison, "I was born by a river." We came from a city where love came in such abundance that it was hard to believe there were children out there who wouldn't recognize the word family. Our village pumped our mother tongue like rich blood in the healthiest of hearts. You could hear syllables pounding like a beat, and we sat together around a large wooden table that had battle wounds in the form of scratches and nicks. Many families had made their mark on this table, and we ate meat with both hands there. Music would float through the air like dandelion seeds in the summer breeze, and once the words reached our ears, it was like a quenched thirst in the Sahara you see. We all spoke the language of Chapman. She was as universal as they came, and I would make it my duty to wash the dishes that had accumulated in the sink, each one resonating a satisfied clink when added to the small mountain. We would sleep with bellies full and hair that reeked of home, succumbing to sleep only when exhausted in the best way, like a child coming home from the playground at sundown. The women, they carry their families on their shoulders, and they do it with such grace, it's a mystery how their backs don't snap in half like bonfire twigs. These women are the world's eighth wonder. Their skin is made of staggering strength, and the men have skin on their hands reminiscent of burlap, and they carry with them amazing versatility. Gentle enough to hold a child's hand, yet maintain enough strength to defend their family's honor. These are hands that have seen rough times, hands that have worked hard to be where they are and remember everything it took to get them there. My father swallowed his life for me. My mother misses home. I am the product of my mother and father's determination, coupled with a love that could not be deteriorated by the unfair elements of a cruel, cruel world. A love that was strengthened even more so by two hands intertwined in the middle of the night in a country one world over when they had little more in mind than the idea of that long sought-after better life. The two waved goodbye to their familiar neighborhood to cradle their daughters in a barely recognizable city where the only thing we were rich in was melanin, but still. They made sure that I drifted off to sleep knowing that a change was going to come, and we talked about revolutions. Don't you know, we're talking about a revolution. It sounds like a whisper. You know, when I look closely at my mother and my father, I see people who love me with the power of 1,000 sons, who are dressed to the nines in double-digit sacrifices with twin towers of burden built up on their shoulders. When I let my eyes travel downward, I see knees that have bent together like paper clips for me to stand on. And if you look close enough, I promise you will also find someone who has been folded in half in the hopes that you would someday walk tall enough or stand straight enough that your spine would never bend in pursuit of your wildest dreams.